Good evening. My name is Ajuri Ngilali, and you are most welcome to Africa's Future Leaders. On this edition of the program, it is our privilege to take you to the Gold Coast of Ghana, where we bring you into the West African Regional Leadership Center of the Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI. It is here that we were granted unprecedented access, both to the center and to the young West African leaders present at the facility. Without further ado, let's hear what these gifted young people have to say. On this day in the heart of Ghana, leadership development is in focus. From across the West African sub-region, these distinguished young leaders gather. They share their stories of impact.
I came to YALI at a point in my life when I thought that I had everything that I needed in my career and everything, because I was consulting for the Japanese government in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and I worked for more than 10 years and all of that. So, but coming to YALI, I got a new I got my horizon broadened, and then there was a project I was running on the side, which is the Center for CSR, which was basically to encourage organizations, corporate organizations, to do more for society, and also to do more in protecting, the environment and all of that. Because in Ghana there were so many misconceptions about CSR and sustainability and environmental protection and all of that. So I got to invest more energy in the Center for CSR, and I got, immediately after YALI, I was empowered, psychologically, and I decided to look out for partnership, with various organizations, pitch to various organizations, and I was able to get the support of the Ministry for Trade and Industry, the support of JICA, the support of a lot of private sector organizations to actually bring home the discussion and the conversation about how companies should be more responsible towards the environment and also towards their stakeholders, and to also look at what is happening in the developed world and how we can bridge the gap in Africa and especially in Ghana and all of that. And right now there are a lot of Ghanaian organizations and companies that are becoming more socially responsible than they used to be, and they are coming to the center to ask for how they can develop, sustainable CSR policies and programs for their organizations and all of that. And then we're able to bring into force the CSR conference, which is like a yearly event that brings all major stakeholders together, talk about the regulatory agencies, the academia, media, and all of that, and bring them all together to talk about CSR, sustainability, SDGs, and the future for organizations in Ghana. And through that process, we also, the center was involved in developing the CSR policy for Ghana. This was sponsored by the German government, but we had a lot of input into that process because in most part of the world, CSR is actually not, in the developed world, it's more of like a policy, there's a policy, covering how organizations should behave towards environment. It's only in India that it's actually a legal mandate where there's a law that says that this is what organizations must do and all of that. But in Ghana, there was no policy, there was nothing. So through our efforts, we were able to, together with the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the German government, we were able to put together, and last year we launched the National CSR Policy for Ghana. And aside that, my other private agencies, the PR agencies that I run, through Yali, the people that I met at Yali were able to establish an office in Nigeria, for instance. Now we have a Nigerian office through the effort of a lawyer who happened to be in my court when I was at Yali and all of that. So, and we're also looking at Gambia and some other West African countries, and all made possible through Yali in the networking. So networking, synergy, very important factors for me.
We live in an Africa where kids still are deprived from access to quality education. And that is one thing that I'm very passionate about in trying to bridge this gap. So you find students following their parents to period sites just to crack stones, whereas in the city you have students in class assiduously studying, and at the end of the day, these students in the rural communities are made to write same exams as the urban community students. And to me, that's been one very great depravity these kids have been or have. And I've tried in all efforts to make sure I bridge this gap by building libraries for them, a place where they can come and learn, they can read books to improve their literacy. They also have access to textbooks their poor or deprived parents can afford to buy for them. And they also feel part and enjoy their rights. Education is a right, it's not a privilege actually, but most African students are being treated as if education is a privilege and they should be glad that they have it. It's true, the Ghanaian government has been very, very supportive in taking access to quality education to all rural communities. And that is what has pushed me to build 6 libraries since 2016. Yali gave me that platform where I met with lots of African students. I shared this story with most of my friends who got very passionate and crazy and invited me even to their countries. I was in Togo, we have a library in Togo, we have a library in Burkina Faso, and even Nigeria and Abidjan, all because Yali brought me friends that were also very passionate about this dream. And just yesterday we celebrated African Children's Rights Protection Day, and I was in one of the schools with my very good friend, Lamborghini, all the way from Nigeria, and it was very great. We spent time with kids. I showed him one of the libraries, and he was very, very impressed. And this library is the learning place for most of these children that are deprived. Back in Yali, I met with lots of friends. I was fortunate to have one-on-one with over 90 of my colleagues, and they shared their stories also. And one of the things that took me off the line was the issue of sanitation. And it's one of the things that also got me very interested. And I met with this very good high school colleague who also happened to be a Yali fellow. So we started, I would say, a bit of a company to help solve sanitation issues within Africa. And you would all accept with me if there are any Ghanaians here. June 10, 2007 has been one of the days Ghanaians couldn't forget. It's a day that 2016 year, where over 200 lives in Ghana were lost because there was a flood, and this flood was caused by choked gutters. What choked the gutters? Plastic waste, right? And we took it upon ourselves to campaign and make sure that this problem is ruled out completely. And my friend Prince and I, who have been working on this project, and we've won several awards after pitching, and we most recently awarded a TEDx British Council 10th most innovative idea within Africa. Right? right? And we're still working to make sure this works. Through yearly, we have been able to establish Koliba in Gambia. Gambia is one of the poorest countries, excuse me to say, that has been, in terms of sanitation, that has been, they don't have a single waste recycling company, and they have been dumping on one side for over 20 years. You can imagine what happens to waste that is not recycled, right? So we've been able to set up in Abidjan, we've been able to set up in Gambia, and we are working on the Gambia team now. That's our next place we are visiting to make sure that they also accept the treatment of waste and are able to segregate their waste and get value for the waste they segregate. Basically, Yali has added so much to me, and I must say, I'm still in school, but still pushing through to make sure that before I'm done with school, I don't have to struggle for a job because Yali has made it possible. Thank you very much.